But first, the judge overseeing Donald Trump's New York criminal case has postponed the president-elect's sentencing indefinitely. Trump was convicted back in May on 34 counts of falsifying business records related to hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels while he was running for president the first time. Trump was set to face sentencing this month, but Judge Juan Merchan agreed to wait to allow Trump's legal team to argue for a full dismissal of the case. CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson is back with more. So, Jessica, talk to us about the arguments that Trump's lawyers will be making for a dismissal.
So the arguments they'll be making are essentially two tracks here. One depends on the Supreme Court's decision in that big immunity case, where very briefly the Supreme Court said when it comes to presidents and former presidents, there's immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts. So question number one really is, are any of the acts that form the basis of this conviction official acts? I think because of the facts of this case, the answer is probably no. Question number two is, can we even sentence in this case because we have not a normal criminal defendant, but we have the president-elect? And that's been one of the other arguments that President Trump's team has brought forward. Then finally, Lana, the question really becomes, if we can move forward with sentencing, when will it happen? Will it happen before January 20th, before the inauguration? Or would it be postponed until after the entire presidential administration? I just want to remind everybody, Judge Merchan, the first judge in the country to ever have to confront these questions.
Yeah, it is entirely unprecedented. And we can dig into that some more. But I want you to lay out for our viewers what prosecutors are arguing, because they've already said that they are going to oppose any efforts to dismiss the case entirely. Do we expect this legal fight to continue into Trump's time in the White House?
Well, in terms of the appeals, that is absolutely possible, because we know that Judge Merchan at some point will have to make a decision about what, Lana, you and I just talked about, which is, what about immunity? What about whether or not you can move forward and sentence somebody who is the president-elect of the United States? So there are some legal questions here, which, as we said, are really matters of first impression. You can absolutely believe that the losing party could appeal those up. And it's very difficult to see how all of the appeals would be done before January 20th. Again, we've never been here before where there's a pending criminal case against a sitting president. But it is important for people to know we have a jury verdict in this case. We don't have a lot of legal guideposts, but one thing I would tell people is the criminal justice system likes finality, and they like to respect jury verdicts. So I think what we're going to be looking at is maybe fights more realistically around the timing of sentencing than actually having the entire case dismissed.
So, Jessica, given that this is all without precedent, and what you said about it potentially being appealed upward, how will this ultimately be determined? Do you imagine that it's going to require the Supreme Court to further weigh in on this? And is it even possible just to delay sentencing until after the Trump administration?
I'll take the last question first, which is, yes, it is possible to delay sentencing. I mean, we have been here before in the sense of there are other criminal cases where judges say we're going to delay sentencing for, and sometimes it's an illness or it's medical treatment, surgery, for instance. We've never had to delay sentencing for a presidential administration, but there is a legal roadmap for something is happening and we're going to delay sentencing. Now, in terms of, you asked me great questions about, the appeals. Could this make could this case make its way all the way back to the Supreme Court? So we need a federal issue to get to the Supreme Court, and the federal
this is a
issue,
state one.
Right, great point, except that the federal issue now might be that there's a state court judge applying that immunity decision. And potentially you could see an argument that he's not applying it directly. Supreme Court, give us guidance about what you really meant when it came to this immunity decision.
And the federal issue is also, he's the president-elect. All right, Jessica Levinson, thank you.